and like you said, it's a small town, and we got our A&B Lawncare services put on the back window with our phone number. And that same day, literally, when we pulled out from the sign shop, we were going down the road, and I noticed somebody following us. I pulled in to the Tractor Supply, which is where we were going, and they pulled in beside us, and they're like, "Hey, will you come mow my yard?" And so that was our first client, literally within minutes of putting the sign on the truck. It's really helped, and
Started.
it really.
Well, hey, Laci, Harley, I appreciate you guys joining me. I've been looking forward to talking to you guys for a little while. I've been following you on YouTube for, I think, 3 or 4 months, and really enjoy your content. So do you mind just introducing yourselves and tell us what you do?
Well, my name is Harley.
My name is Laci.
This is my wife, and we've been doing lawn care together since 2017. And we serve the East Tennessee area, and we've been following your YouTube channel as well. And like, I really do like your content and the fact that you do hauling and cleanup in California. That's really neat that you're on the other side of our country.
Thank you.
We appreciate you having us on your channel, and we thank you for following our channel and watching our videos. It really means a lot to us. We honestly didn't think anyone would ever watch our videos, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm super nervous. This is the first Zoom call like we've ever done, so
Yeah,
hopefully we
don't be nervous. Yeah, well, I appreciate you guys coming on. It's fun to see you guys live in a beautiful area of the country. I've been to Pigeon Forge in that kind of area once, but it was just absolutely stunning. And you guys kind of live near a river. Can you tell us a little more about the geography and kind of the area you guys serve?
Yeah, well, we are in the Great Smoky Mountains, the Appalachian Trail, and we're right here, literally right down the hill from our house is the French Broad River, and it feeds directly to the Gulf. You can follow it from the Great Lakes all the way down, I do believe. And it is like, I feel like a lot of our topography is the same. It's just y'all's mountains are a lot bigger. But yeah, we go to Pigeon Forge and Gatlinburg a lot, so that's one of the places we're familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're not too far from there.
It's like 30, 45 minutes away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But our terrain is a little rocky. It's hard to find flat areas around where we live. So we're mowing on a lot of slopes and stuff. But yeah, it's very beautiful. We are so blessed.
The color change, that's the one thing. Like in the fall time, when you get to see the colors change on the leaves in the mountains, it's really beautiful. I feel like it's unlike anywhere else.
Yeah, it does. I mean, from the footage you guys show, I see the hilly terrain. It seems like you guys are never on really a flat surface, which makes it, I'm sure, challenging for mowing and weed eating and all that.
It definitely brings into a lot of steep weed eating where you end up, we pick up a lot of work from clients that people just quit. Honestly, they'd quote the yard early in the season thinking they can do it, and after it gets like 85, 95 degrees and they're weed eating these steep slopes, they just they let the yard go. So it's something we've became really good at over the years, so and we don't mind doing it. And like she said, it's just hard to find flat yards in this area, so really you kind of take what you get.
Yeah. In your area, what's the mowing season typically like? You guys start in March and go till like October or November?
Yeah, pretty much March to November. Really, in the beginning of the season, you really just don't know. It could be springtime early and go straight into summer, or we could still get snow or anything like that all the way up until really April. But most of the time, it's pretty smooth sailing once March gets here. It starts warming up fairly quickly.
Like our commercial contracts, they're from March 1st through the end of November, but all of our residentials, they usually end up starting in the month of March, but sometimes it'll be the first, second, or third week of March before we hear from some of our customers.
And it might start off, some of our weekly yards might start off in the beginning bi-weekly, or maybe even every 3 weeks until we get really full on into the season where it's growing really rapidly and we need to mow every week.
Yeah. And then I'm sure you guys do quite a bit of fall leaf cleanup, and obviously one of the things I really enjoy about your channel, because funny enough, watch a lot of landscapers, even though I don't do a whole lot of landscaping myself, but you guys have a nice variety of things you do, from fence building, and tree work and driveway cut-ins and stuff. Can you tell us a little more about what you keep busy with in the wintertime or the off season?
Well, yeah, that's what we do, a lot of fence building. One of our biggest business aspects in the wintertime is brush clearing. We do a lot of land clearing and just cutting down brush and taking it, and something that you do, disposing. But one of the biggest issues we've ran into over the last couple of years is we don't have a place to take it anymore. Our landfills quit taking brush, and used to they would charge you to take it by the ton, but now they just absolutely say no, you can't take it, and they tell you to rent a wood chipper. But that's not always an option. If it is, it's great. But so that's what we do. We do a lot of brush clearing during the wintertime, and we do any kind of odd and end jobs. Really, we do construction. We do painting, interior, exterior. We've done a lot of painting for people. Um,
We do some concrete jobs. Like Harley's very skilled. He can pretty much do mostly anything. And if he doesn't know how to do it right away, he's a very fast learner, and he can usually master anything. Like he's really good. He's a very good partner to have.
When we first started, I always had to have, like, in the wintertime, I always had to pick up like just a side job, an odd job here or there, and just a temporary job. But come March, we were able to just get back into it. But thankfully, the Lord's blessed us, and over the last couple of years, I haven't had to do that. And we have picked up commercial accounts, and this year our commercial account with the McDonald's, they want to extend us to where we can work 12 months out of the year. So that's going to be a really good blessing for next year.
That's awesome.
Years to come.
Yeah, that's really going to help us a lot in the wintertime, because we seem to really stay fairly busy with enough jobs to get us through. But this will provide, if there are weeks or maybe months that we don't have regular jobs scheduled, the McDonald's contract is really going to come through for us. Because Harley can do a lot of inside maintenance, outside maintenance. So that'll be something that we can do that's inside, and that could be year round. So
we'll actually hopefully be having a video coming soon. 2 days last week, I was actually working at 2 different McDonald's locations, repairing their tile and grout work on the outside and on the inside in the kitchen area. So it's really, our commercial contracts have really helped us grow our business over the last few years. When we first started, it was just family, friends, and just a few yards here and there, and really word of mouth. That's really been a game changer for us, because that's really gotten us every single yard we have has been by word of mouth.
That's awesome. So you guys don't do a lot of like just generic marketing or advertising anymore. But what about in the beginning when you were starting out with friends and family, and how did you grow the business? Was it just word of mouth?
Well, we put a sign on the truck, and we had some business cards made. We had some T-shirts made, but mostly the majority was just, if someone led us to a potential client and we did a job for them, we made sure that we left them happy and satisfied. They would tell their friends, and then it wouldn't be long, someone else would call us, and it's just like, just an unraveling effect. And we've just built this clientele over the last several years. But the main thing is always leave your customers happy, because in a small town, like where we're from, one bad thing could really ruin a business. If you leave one person unhappy, or you do a bad job and they start telling people, it can get around fairly quickly. So always leave your customers, as happy as you possibly can, and, do the best job you possibly can. And the customers usually will take care of you. They'll tell people, and we've really grown a lot just from that. But
like she said, we did, because we didn't have anything on the vehicle or anything like that, and we had an F-150, and we went to a sign shop in our town, and like she said, it's a small town, and we got our A&B Lawncare services put on the back window with our phone number. And that same day, literally, when we pulled out from the sign shop, we were going down the road, and I noticed somebody following us. I pulled in to the Tractor Supply, which is where we were going, and they pulled in beside us, and they're like, "Hey, will you come mow my yard?" And so that was our first client, literally within minutes of putting the sign on the truck. It's really helped, and it really does make a difference. Because remember when we had a lot of advertising on the truck?
Oh yeah, we had the truck almost fully wrapped, at
Yeah.
one point.
And it brought us a lot of business because, like I was saying earlier, we do a lot of brush clearing and
Yeah.
concrete work and just any kind of minor construction, painting, and we had all that. All our bed of our truck was just lettered all the way down the side on both sides, and our windows and everything, and it really does help. And once we got to where our base had grown so much, we actually removed a lot of our advertising because it's just the two of us, and
Yeah.
We had to turn down a lot of jobs just because we couldn't do them.
yeah, and in
Just
the
us.
beginning, yeah, in the beginning, I was still working, and it was just like a side job, like a hobby mowing, really, for
Yeah.
it was 2 or 3 years. It was just really like a hobby, and then once we saw the potential to actually become a full time business, we went and we got our business license, got our taxes and all that, got our insurance, and then we just pursued it full time. And when I finally made that decision, I mean, it was nerve wracking. It was
Mhm.
scary because I was leaving a good job, but I mean, she's been the best. Like, if it wasn't for her support, really, really don't think we could have done it. Like, I couldn't have done it by myself. Um, just having somebody that will work, I mean, as hard as she does, really, she will work just as hard or harder than I do on some of these jobs. And so she's always been there from day one, and we've been able to do it together. And it's been the best decision I ever made. Like, because working 9, 10 hours a day to make the same thing that you might make on one yard or maybe two small yards, it just made a whole different aspect of view on life.
Yeah.
Because then you
That
get
is
to
so
be home
cool.
with your family, and being able to work with my wife every day, it just makes me value my time a whole lot more.
Yeah. That is so special, you guys, and what an amazing story. One of the reasons that I honestly enjoy doing these interviews, and kind of one of the things I want to promote, is entrepreneurship, because I might be in the junk removal mostly, but I do dabble in some landscaping. But I want to show other people, like, it's not, being in business for yourself, it's hard, especially when you guys take that jump. I have the security blanket still of a full-time job, which I have a really great job as well. So for me and my family right now, this is the right mix, but I'm not saying
Yeah,
one
no,
day it
yeah,
won't be, but what I like to show is, like, sometimes you just got to get started. You may not have all the answers in the beginning, but you just build it piece by piece, and you take on new things, you learn new skills, and then you figure it out. Because they don't teach you in high school, or even if you go to college and stuff, they don't really teach you how to start a business. And in my opinion, the way you got to do it is just do it.
yep,
And I think
that's the
if
truth.
more young people can understand the benefits of entrepreneurship, and obviously there's a lot of challenges that come with it, but I think those challenges get offset by a lot of rewards, not just monetarily. And so that's one of the things I want to see, like, other people get inspired by, is, like your story, and just and understand, like, you might get a job where they pay you $9 an hour at McDonald's, but if you're mowing McDonald's, you might be making 25 an hour because you figured out how to structure your business and make your clients happy and provide that,
Yep.
awesome value. So it's it's something that I really admire about you guys, is taking that full-time jump. And you have to do it when it's right for you. But how did you know that it was the right time? You said you started getting busier and busier, and then kind of turning away jobs.
Well, it got to where really, I mean, the job I was working during the day, and when
When we were losing, like when we knew that there were other jobs, like the amount of hours that he was there for what he was going to get paid was going to be way less than what we could make, out together working. And especially the job he had was requiring him to be there during the best hours of, like mowing and
yeah, you want
stuff.
to be able
So,
to mow early and get your day started early because if you like, we have 4 McDonald's we mow in the same day, and they're in different counties, so you want to get started as early as possible because you're going to want to mow as long as possible. And so, if with my day job, I was not getting off until half or practically 7 or 8 hours of the day is gone, and
Yeah.
it was a question between, do I continue with this full-time job that's not, it's not going anywhere, or the potential to grow is going to be years on down the road,
Yeah.
versus I've got the amount of clients already that want me to do the work that will equal out to more money. Like
Yeah.
when we, like, there was a time we sat down and we did the actual numbers. We added up what we were going to be able to potentially make if we did all of our clients weekly, and then we looked at what the yearly income was for the job, and it didn't even come close. So it was like, it's a huge risk, because what if the people don't want you to do it? Or what if
Right.
somebody else comes in and they offer a lower price, and the customer takes the risk? Because not always is it good to take the lowest price, because they
Yeah.
may not know exactly what they're doing, and they may not be insured to where if they damage something, they can't repair it. So, I mean, it is a good risk, but when we finally realized we had so many people that wanted us to work for them, and we were just having to turn away good customers that would have been good clients, they wanted weekly contracts, but I just didn't have the time. I feel like it was a good decision.
Yeah, when you think
Yeah.
the reward is going to be more than the risk at this point,
Hmm.
you just put all your faith in it and you just go with it. Nothing that's going to be great is going to be completely easy. You have to just believe in yourself. And we do try to advocate to all the young kids out there, because everybody is skilled at something. And I do believe that everybody could own and operate their own business. And we do need just, regular workers everywhere, and we are thankful for them. But I do think more people should try to own their own business. It is hard. But if you just keep trying, more than likely you will make it. A lot of businesses fail in the first year because they just give up, and
Right.
the first time a few things happen, they get too discouraged and think, oh well, bad things are just going to keep happening. But sometimes things happen, but you learn from every experience. With more time, you get more experience, and you handle situations better. You just learn. You're constantly learning.
And then just having the thought, the idea of having a business to hand down to your family one day,
Hmm.
having something to leave to your family, versus um, dedicating 30 years plus to a business for retirement, which there's nothing wrong with that. I'm just saying, that's for a person, that's just that person, they're going to have their retirement, and their
Right.
children didn't work for that retirement, so they don't have anything to fall back on. And we really wanted to be able to leave a business for Adam, our son, to take over one day, if he wants to. And if not, he could sell it, or we're just going to continue to work it as long as we can.
Yeah.
But it just, the entrepreneurship has been just a dream, really, always. I've just always wanted to do that, and we've really both had to drive together.
Yeah.
So it is a game changer. It's a life changer for people. Um, it's hard. It definitely is hard, and there's a lot of things to learn, like when it comes to finances, because working for a company and then owning a company is two drastically different things,
Yes.
especially in the lawn care and landscaping business, because one of our biggest problems when it comes to sourcing customers are, there's a lot of people in our area that used to work for a lawn care company, or used to be a labor hand for a lawn care company, and don't realize that when they worked, they were a labor hand, and they made, labor rates pay, which is, like at different times, say $10 an hour. That's our biggest thing, is what we've been told as well. I used to make $10 an hour as a landscaper. It's
Yeah.
like, that's not what the owner made. The owner has insurance they got to pay for, they got taxes to pay for, they got fuel to pay for, and they had to pay you to be there to do
Hmm.
the landscape. So it's just sourcing good customers has been difficult, but it is rewarding when you finally do get the ones that are meant to be. You'll find the ones that you end up becoming family with. There's been a lot of our customers that we've had for several years, and they've been the most wonderful people. And sadly we've had to say goodbye to a few, We've lost some of our customers. That's one of the things about being a business owner, a small business owner in this kind of business, is your work relies on whether or not they still need you. And like Todd, one of our customers, he passed away. And so we lost that contract, and he was our very best friend. He had been a customer for like 5 years. And honestly, he was the one that, when we got the sign on the truck, he was the one that followed us and pulled it
Oh,
up.
wow.
Yeah.
And he became a very good contact in our community. He owned several businesses in our community, and he led us to a lot of work.
Yeah,
That's
it can be
awesome.
scary, in situations like when we lost him, because it was very unexpected,
We
so
didn't know
that was
what
a
was
big
going to do.
contract that we lost, and you think, oh, well, will we be able to replace that? But we've
That
actually
was-
had
okay.
better contracts.
I would say-
The year after that, that's when we picked up the McDonald's, and
That was the year that we really decided, when we really knew it was time to go full time, was when we lost Todd, our friend, when he passed away, and we didn't know what we could do. We really relied on him. We thought we really relied on him because he was a really good client.
Yeah.
But then that next year, we just got out there, and it was like one after the next, and just more customers kept coming. And then we got the McDonald's contract, and that really gave us the boost to know that you can do it. Things will come and things will go. People will come, people will go, but the business has always got to live. You just got to keep going. You've got to keep trying. You've got to keep it alive. Because if you quit, like if you can't ever let the negative thoughts enter in to think that, oh, I can't do it, because like if you tell yourself you can't, then you won't. But
Yeah.
and you are the lifeline to the business, because you're the owner, you're the operator, you pay all the bills, and you are the laborer at the same time.
Yeah. Do you guys ever want to grow to like have employees? Do you like running it as the owner operators? Obviously, there's pros and cons to both.
Well,
Yeah.
we've been up and
thought
down
about
with
it. But
that.
honestly, as long as we can, like, unless it was like a family deal, because sometimes we hire in Harley's brother or my dad or, our son or,
But we've
just
had bad experiences hiring people before. Um, that just with this business, it's when it gets 95 degrees in July and August, and there's no wind. It's just all day heat, and they're out there on a weed eater for 8 hours. They're And when you pay them on Friday, a lot of the times that you don't hear back from them on Monday,
Mm,
and or even we've had people that won't make it a day, and
yeah.
they just don't. They don't realize how hard it is to mow more than just your own yard, because a lot of people think of it as, well, oh, I mow my yard once a
Yeah.
week, and it's great. And I'm not saying anything about people that mow their own yard. A lot of people do wonderful work, but when you're mowing 10 yards in one day, it's a lot different. And then you got to get up the next day to do 10 more yards or 5 more yards, and do that 5 days in a row, and then come home and still have to mow your own yard. It's a lot of it's a lot of work.
Yeah. Can you tell me about your lifestyle and how you guys set yourself up to be, healthy and vibrant? Because that, like you said, it's very physical, I'm sure, especially in the summer when you're just, the yards are popping off and you're doing 8, 9, 10 hour days. What do you guys do from your diet or like, other lifestyle factors?
yeah. We just try to eat as healthy as we can. Honestly, I know in this type of business, you're running around, you're going through town. Like sometimes you have to stop eat fast food, but we try to eat as healthy as we possibly can at the fast food.
In the beginning, we ate a lot of junk food. I mean, just gas station food here and there. Eating chips in between yards, and you do notice a difference. After 2 or 3 months into it, you're just dragging through it. Versus when we started trying to eat healthier, eating fruits, making sure you stay hydrated on not sodas. Like that's
Yeah.
what people always told us. You need to stay hydrated, and we drink 6 or 7 sodas a day, and it's like that's not hydrated. You need water, you need Gatorade, you need juice. And
Yeah.
so when we started trying to live healthier, and the main thing is the diet. And she cooks all of our food for us. I'm very thankful for that. And she tries to use the best ingredients, organic ingredients if she can, and just having healthy snacks. And when you're out and about, like, because working outside, it is very labor intensive, and your body needs the nourishment in between the yards. Like you need a healthy drink, you need some kind of healthy snack because you'll want it. Like if,
Yeah.
especially if you've been out in the heat and you've been doing a labor intensive job, you need the energy to keep going. So just fruit and nuts and stuff like that, or trail mix, or jerky, dried meats. Um, but the main thing is just try to stay hydrated.
Yes. And
Great
know your
advice.
limits too. If you, like, we've had people that have worked with us that aren't used to it, and we tell them, if you feel like, yourself, if you feel like you're dehydrated, if you're going to pass out, you just sit down. Like, these jobs are not that important. Like, your life is always more important. But we're just very blessed. We are used to it. At the beginning of summer, it's a little bit hard, but we are in it every day, and you just mainly stay hydrated. Just pace yourself, take your time. Um,
Yeah.
But after 9 months of mowing, you do enjoy the winter time to take a chance to relax. And I'd say because like December we're ready for a break, but come back January, February, we're ready to start mowing again.
Yeah.
and get good sleep too. But it's usually very easy for me to fall asleep at the end of the day after we've worked so hard. I can usually pass right out, but try to get a lot of good sleep too, because that really helps you.
But also just maintaining a healthy diet and a good workout schedule too. Like we do, even though we do have a very labor intensive job, we've been blessed enough to have a gym and an at home gym. We've got weight stations and we have a treadmill. So we just try to stay active even during the winter months because if you if you do take the whole 3 months of your off season and you don't do anything, it'll be really hard to get back going the next year. And then by the time you finally get back on a routine, you're halfway through the season where you could have been fit and ready to go right at the beginning of the season to potentially maybe grow more than the last year. Because
Yeah.
one of our biggest problems were in the beginning was scheduling, or not really having a schedule, and we would accidentally double book yards, or we'd have too many yards scheduled for a day, and then end up we'd working 7 days a week just trying to stay caught up.
Yeah. Can you talk to me about how you guys organize your schedule now, and like, do you use a certain software or CRM to build your routes, or do you do that yourselves?
Well, actually, she does that. So
We've had some other people show us some apps and stuff that are like that, and I think that's really neat. But we've always done everything old school. We just kind of, the schedule's been different every year, and we've learned more and more each year how to make it better and more efficient, for our life, and know when, like, to keep some days that you don't schedule, yards for every single week. That way, in case you have an appointment, or if you want to go somewhere, like, you have time to do that. um, but at the beginning of the season, really, we just well, now, we, like, with our commercial contract, we know it starts in March, so that's one of the very first things that we start with, and we kind of start building around that. Really, whatever the first, like, however the month falls on March, we'll look. We'll kind of pick a day, like, and we'll start, like, we thought, like, last season we mowed on Fridays at the McDonald's, and that was great. But we're thinking, well, this year we might not want to do it on Fridays. Like, we probably would do it on Thursdays or something like that, just so we have, our Fridays and in the weekend if we were to need it.
Hmm.
But we just, as the yards start growing, we just start building the schedule from that. And it takes a few weeks in the beginning to get all of the yards going, at one time. Some of our yards grow really fast, some of our yards grow really slow. So some of our customers, want to start much sooner than some of the other ones.
but once you finally do, like you're saying, in the beginning of the season, it takes 2 to 3 weeks for all of our customers to get on a routine to where we've got all of our yards started back again for the season. So, like, March is usually when it all starts, but by April 1st, everybody's rocking and rolling again. So,
Yeah.
by then, we do try to keep everything on a route to where,
we go in areas, or
yeah,
except for the McDonald's. That's one of the weird ones because they are in four
we
different counties.
we try
But
to do all, like, for our
with
commercial contracts, like for the McDonald's, we'll do all of their stores on the same day. but we usually don't travel to different um, counties and stuff like that
Right.
for residentials. What we'll try to do is we'll try to make a loop where we'll go out and we'll start at our farthest away, and then farthest away yard and work our way back towards home. And it's worked. It's taken us a couple years to really get a good scheduling, even though, because
Hmm.
that's what we do. We do it the old school way, just pen and paper.
Right, and building enough yards in a certain area, because in the beginning, there might be where you didn't have enough yards, like you have to travel a good ways in between. But then you
Right.
start picking up more yards in one area, so you have like one day dedicated to this general area, and you mow all of your yards in that area that day, and then just kind of
Building
keep
that
it.
route density for those days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
How about
basically,
invoicing, and how do your customers typically pay you, or how do you work that out?
okay. I do use an invoicing app. It's called Wave Invoicing, WAVE, and it's
Okay.
been very helpful for all of our commercial clients and anybody that pays with a check or that does any kind of like credit card payment, or if they do like a mobile payment. That's a really easy way for me to send them. I can even send them estimate now with the 2024. They came out with an update to where you can send estimates,
Mhm.
invoices, and it's been very helpful in that because it'll keep track of everything you do, and it's
Yep.
really easy because then you can put your customer's name, and when you put that in, it'll put their address, their phone number, their email, and it'll have all of your. And I'm pretty sure you can set up route destinations and stuff like that, but I haven't got that far into it.
Sure.
But a lot of our, probably 80% of our customers just leave us a check on the door, and
Yeah.
then we keep track of all the taxes and all that. Honestly, most of our residential customers, they don't ask for receipts or invoices or anything like that. And we do a
Yeah.
lot of elderly customers or retirement people, and they just they're not really. I don't want to bother them with it. I know a lot of our people, they just wouldn't necessarily want it, but for anybody that does want it, we do offer that. We do offer all kind of invoicing and receipts, but we do
Hmm.
all of our own booking and tax keeping, or bookkeeping and taxes, and it's been a learning process for sure. Um, but the Wave invoicing, it's very helpful. It's very easy. You just put the customer's name, the item that you're doing, because you can save preset items in there for, like, if you wanted to do, okay, a regular yard maintenance where you come in and you mow and weed eat and leaf blow, and then you put your set price. So if you had a $50 yard, a $75 yard, $100 yard, you can put the customer, the price of their mow, and the date that you did it, and the date that it's due on, and then you can
Yeah.
just send it to them, and then it will send you a copy and the customer a copy of an electronic um, link, a digital link where it'll just pull up, but also PDF format. So
That's
if they
awesome.
print it,
Yeah. Yeah. Shifting gears a little bit, can you guys kind of walk me through? You said you started this on the side, and you at that time had an F-150. Can you tell me a little bit more about kind of the equipment legacy, what you started with, now what you're working with today?
Yeah, in the beginning, we just had the F-150. We were borrowing my dad's utility trailer, 16-foot trailer.
it was a double axle
We
tractor.
had a regular tractor mower, a Cub Cadet, older mower. I can't even remember what the model was, 1045 or
1025, I
something.
think.
Uh,
It was just a residential rider mower, 48-inch cut, and
and then we had a regular zero turn too.
a residential Cub
I can't
Cadet
remember.
54-inch zero turn with a lap bar steering. And that's what we started out with, just all residential equipment. And we really put
And then
that
we
stuff
just had a
to the test.
Yeah.
steel weed eaters. We started with one steel weed eater, and then we had one um, Husqvarna backpack blower, and that's pretty much all we started
Yeah,
with.
pretty much our equipment, you could have went down to your local tractor supply and just picked it all up right there. And it really easy to get started with. It's just taking the money to get it. But like you said, we started out with residential equipment, so it was affordable and it's easy to maintain.
Yeah.
And
And we pretty much, we owned everything outright, except for the trailer. The trailer was my dad's. But yeah, so we just started mowing. People, knew we had mowers, and
Yeah.
there were people that we knew that did have some yards that they mowed, and then like they didn't want certain yards anymore. And we started out with a lot of yards that people just really didn't want anymore.
That's how, but that's how we got
Yeah,
started.
it was great though, and
Yeah.
we had a really great time. We have loved all of our yards, but it started out real simple, just like that. And then we decided that we would like to have 2 0 turns, so we upgraded to 1 0 turn, which is my mower now. It's the Ultima ZT2, and we paid it off. It paid for itself the first season really quickly, and it's been a great mower. And then so we decided to upgrade to another one, and
So now we've got two 60-inch Co Cadet Ultima Series um, 0 turn mowers, and they've got hydraulic steering, and it makes a world of difference in our area because, like, our first equipment, the residential equipment, everything was belt driven, and on our slopes, you couldn't really you can go up and down, but you couldn't go side to side because as soon as the front wheels turned down, it would just go, and you couldn't pull yourself back up. But now that it's hydraulic, it won't let it take off down the hill because you can turn one wheel independently from the other, and
Gotcha.
even if it does turn down, you can pull back and turn all the way back around to just keep going back where you were. So
Right.
they made the step up to get the bigger equipment, which was in 2019. Or no, it was 2020 was when we first
I think
upgraded.
2020 is when I got my mower. 21 is when you got your mower.
Yeah.
And then so we pretty much haven't made any upgrades to our equipment since then, except for this season will be the first season that we actually had the new trailer. So
Yeah, for
I
our
saw it.
2024 season, and it's something we've talked about for years. We wanted to have an enclosed trailer because all of our equipment, we don't have anywhere to store it except in our carport. So, and that's been something every day having to unload and load your equipment and not be able to park your car in your carport or just have to walk past it every time you go in and out. It really gets old. And just having a place to lock up all of your equipment at the same time, it was really going to make a difference. So finally, we got everything paid for. All of our new equipment was paid for: the mowers, the weed eaters, the chainsaws. We had Husqvarna chainsaws. And so then this winter, we decided for the 2024 season, we were going to get a new enclosed trailer. So we got a 24.5 foot enclosed trailer. It's got 7 foot ceilings, 8.5 foot wide.
it's
Yeah,
very
it's beautiful.
expensive. It's very expensive for what we have right now. But
I like it. It's a nice trailer.
thank you so much.
And
We're so
it just so
blessed.
happened to be, it was color match to our truck, and we didn't even, it wasn't like we ordered it like that or nothing. I looked all over every dealership. I wanted it to be the color match trailer, and nothing was available, or if it was just way too expensive. But then we found that one, and we drove to Nashville in it.
Yeah.
We drove to Nashville, which is the capital of our state, and we picked it up, and it was affordable, and it's just what we wanted, and we drove it back. And I mean, everything about it's been great, and we're excited to get to set it up for the new season. And it's really motivated us to grow the business more to where we can put more inside of it, because right now we just have so much empty space.
Yeah. We're thinking about possibly upgrading to a commercial stand-on mower.
Okay.
So we want to have space for that, just in case, like when and if we want to do that, because the other trailer, we were pretty much maxed out on the space for our mowers. But
Are you guys going to put graphics on the trailer? Imagine.
That is something we want to do.
thought about that.
It's just finding somebody around here to do it.
Yeah.
It is something we want to do, though. We've got several different ideas. I think it'll be neat. And one thing we've talked about on our channel is we want to have a wall dedicated, like a subscriber wall on the interior, so that every time we go in and out of our trailer, we can see stickers and motivational things that our subscribers and viewers have sent to us. And
That's cool.
And be able to shout them out on the channel, and so they can see it on the channel every day too. And I really think that would be really fun. So we've put our PO box. We've been putting that in the description of all of our videos. So if anybody wanted to share anything, they could send it to us and we'll put it on the wall. But as far as advertising and stuff goes, our graphics on the trailer. We are open to any sponsorships. Like we've been working with Alley Man Tools recently, and that's
Mm-hmm.
been really neat. Like their tools, the little chainsaw, has been really neat. So we're looking to grow the business even more because it's so much square footage for design and advertising, and I feel like it can really be a good opportunity to grow the business.
Absolutely. When did you guys pick up? Is it an F-350? I think. Yeah.
Yes.
That's a beautiful truck. I really like the cab chassis. I wanted to get one myself, and I couldn't find one around me that was the spec I wanted.
No, I
And
totally understand.
and then I started looking at the bodies and upfitting and the lead times on those, and I was like, man, I wanted to get my big truck before we went on a family trip,
Yeah.
because I have my Tundra, but couldn't find a cab chassis. Can you tell me when you got that and how that's worked out for you?
We got that in November of 2021.
That's what I
Right.
was thinking.
Yeah. And honestly, we got that in hopes to grow the business. And when we got it, we were planning on expanding into excavation, which is something else that we do a lot of. Well, not a lot, but we do small excavation jobs. We do tile work. We put in driveways. We do a lot of land clearing, which involves running excavators as well. So I done the same thing. I was looking everywhere. I wanted the cabin chassis. I wanted the flatbed truck. And what main thing was the specs. We wanted the highest tow capacity. We wanted the dual rear end and 4-wheel drive. And we weren't particularly looking for the Ford because we wanted Ford. We've always wanted Ford. But the price, they're out of their price. And so we went to the Dodge dealership, the Chevy and Dodge dealership here local in town. And we were going to order a new Dodge truck to the specs because they didn't have anything on the lot. But then I got to look, it was going to be like 6 or 8 months to even get a truck, even if you ordered it. But then you still have to pay for it and you don't have the truck yet. But then they just asked us if we'd be interested in a Ford, and they just had that one in the back. They hadn't even put it on the lot yet. So they
No
were like,
way.
well, would you be interested in looking at this one while you're here? So it's like it came to us. I mean, the Lord literally like right there for us.
That is so cool. And it's the diesel, right?
Yes, sir. It's got the 6.7.
Yeah.
It's 4-wheel drive. It's dual rear end. It's got a 6-speed transmission.
Mm-hmm.
It's been great. It's pulled everything we've ever hooked it up to with no issues. It's been a wonderful truck. I mean, we do all our own maintenance. The only thing we ever had to do is just change the oil. We've literally never had an issue.
How many miles do you have on it now?
We've put 100,000 miles on it in 2 years.
Wow.
So it's been.
And most of those, I'm sure, are towing something.
Yeah, it's been towing something every single mile.
We put it to work pretty much immediately. That's the thing. Like, we don't get anything unless it's going to pay for itself.
Actually, we bought the truck. We put it to work so fast. We had jobs literally within a week. It was starting to pay for itself, and that's really what we were stressing about when we first got it. Was we wanted it to be able to pay for itself, and it's been very dependable. And I really hope that yours, because you've got a Ford as well, and I hope it just has an amazing, dependable lifetime for you.
Yeah, and I've been a little hard on my truck in my review of it so far, because it's been an excellent truck. I've got 11,000 miles on it. I bought it in, I think, August.
Wow, that's awesome.
But yeah, it's a 23 with the high output power stroke, and I wasn't even looking for the high output. What I wanted was a long bed, because I wanted the big fuel tank for towing our travel trailer with our family and stuff. And so I kind of use it for my business and personal. But the only issues I've really had are little tiny electronic things, like with CarPlay, or like the dash lights shut off on me one time, which was kind of scary, but absolutely no problem actually, mechanically with the truck or running. I mean, it's got so much power and stability towing, and I love it. So it's been a good truck so far.
Well, that's great. Ours is actually a 2019, and it's got the larger tank, and we use ours for business and for personal use as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually got a 48-gallon tank on it, so it's been very
Yeah,
helpful.
that's what
But
I got. I love it.
that's great that you've got the high output motor, though. I've heard nothing but good about it. But
I
the
mean, yeah,
electrical
it's been
issues,
good
I've
for me.
had the same electrical issues as far as the trailer lights
Okay.
that you've been having to deal with. It's not
Yeah.
just you. I've been dealing with it for the last little bit. Every time it rains, honestly,
Yeah.
every time it
I
rains, it does
I
that.
think it is the wetness, and I checked the connections underneath it, and once
Yep.
it stopped raining, now I haven't had any issues with it. So,
Exactly. And it started raining here yesterday. It came back on here. So
okay.
one thing I've learned is the dielectric grease. That
Hmm.
will help. If you put that in there, it will help keep the water out and it'll help maintain the electric connection. So that's one thing that I'm
Cool.
going to do, and hopefully that will solve that.
Good to
But I
know.
think
I
it's just
appreciate it.
getting wet. I done the same thing. I looked underneath the bed, and I pulled
Yeah.
everything out, and I cleaned it out with electrical cleaner, blowed it out with the air compressor, put it back in. As long as it stays dry, it's no problem. But it's every time it rains, or
Yeah.
like in our area when they salted the roads. That was really when I first noticed it in the winter when we got a lot of snow and they put a lot of salt down,
Hmm.
and we drove through it, and that's when it started progressively getting worse. Like the salt was getting into there, so I had to get in there and clean it all out. But ever since then, anytime it's dry, I don't have any issues. I never had the
Yeah.
dash lights go out though.
Yeah, that could be. I don't know if the 19s and the 23s are the same dash or not, but it was only
Actually,
one time. We were driving down a canyon in Utah with our trailer, and it was. It looked like the truck had turned off, which was kind of scary. But my CarPlay was still on the screen, but not the dash lights. And I was like, listen for a second. I was like, well, truck's still running. I got power steering. And then it looked like
that'd
the
be
truck
scary.
just turned on again, and but it was just the dash. Like nothing mechanically had happened, which thank
Yeah.
goodness because we were driving. But yeah, so it was a little weird. But I think those electronic, they kind of glitch out here and there, like anything. Any computer, phone has little issues. So I can't fault Ford too much for that. And I mean, every truck has its challenges, but otherwise, I mean, it's been
Yes.
a good truck. I'm glad to hear you guys are having a good run with yours too.
Yeah, thank you. And one difference I know that's been a thing for me as far as maintenance wise is one difference in my truck and your truck is the crankcase filter. In my truck, it has a crankcase filter that you actually have to change. It's a paper filter, and they tell you to change it like every 50,000 miles. And if you don't, it will actually get clogged and cause back pressure inside blow by. It'll actually cause blow by
Hmm.
inside the engine. And if you to test that, you loosen your oil cap, and when you go
Yep.
to raise it, it'll blow it up. And mine
Yeah.
did that. So that's why I was like, oh no, what's going on? And that's how I actually found out, because that's what Ford said. You have to change it every 50,000 miles. And so that's literally been the only thing that I've ever had to do is just regular oil change, air filter change, the crankcase filter change. But with 2020 plus, they fixed that and they went to a different kind of crankcase filter. So you shouldn't
Hmm.
have to worry about that.
Okay. Good to know. Yeah. I guess, sorry, I'll talk about trucks all day, so I don't want
Yeah,
to
me
spend
too.
too
That's
much
like I gotta stop.
time. Yeah, if you were gonna start your business over again, and you could go back and tell yourself something that you know now, maybe in the beginning or 3 or 4 years ago, what would you go back and tell yourself? Piece of advice or whatever.
Um, well, in the beginning, we definitely started off quoting all of our jobs way too low. That was one of the things that got us a little frustrated, because sometimes you end up with resentment when you shouldn't have had, and just getting frustrated with situations when it could have been avoided. But um, just and just take your time. Don't get too worked up over the small things. That most things work themselves out, and it's not that big of a deal. Most people are kind. All you got to do if there's an issue, just go talk to the customer.
Communication is key. That's one thing. In the beginning, I was not very good at communicating, not very good at talking on the phone. But just as time went by, I've learned that the better your communication is, the more likely you're going to gain them as a respectable friend or customer, and the more likely they're going to spread your business. Um, if you just be respectful with people, Not that we weren't ever. It's just if I could tell myself when we first started, try to be as professional as possible, even when you're just starting out. Try to look the part, try to act the part, and follow through with everything you say.
Yes, be confident.
Be
'Cause
confident
they can
in
tell
yourself.
if you're not confident. If you're not confident in yourself, they will not be confident in
You
you.
second guess yourself, they will see it, and they will.
Yeah.
And it's been like when we were first starting out with quoting our jobs. We quoted way too low, and I still didn't even have the confidence then, and I would second guess myself then. And then what that leads to is just eventually you don't want your business to be known as the cheapest, because you don't want people to come to you just because you're the cheapest, because then
Yeah.
you'll lose them to the next person that is the cheapest. You want to be known by your work. So that's one thing. If I could tell myself, just advertise better, be more professional, and just be confident. And even in the beginning, just be confident that you can do it and you will do a good job. And if you follow through with it, it will be a really good reward in the end.
I wish I had that advice when I started. I was too low in my price, and I think I still am. To be honest with you, I think I've only been doing it a year, and I think I have the confidence now, but I think I have too kind of a heart sometimes because I'm like,
I
oh,
understand.
it's they're elderly. I'm gonna cut them a good deal, and I
Yeah.
like people and I enjoy my work. I don't rely on it because I have my day job financially, but I know that that's not setting a good precedent for the industry, for the competition, or myself, setting me up for failure.
And we did the exact same thing because, like you said in the beginning, like I had my day job. We didn't rely on it to pay the bills. We were paying the bills. That we did it for fun. We did it to help
Yeah,
people. We did it because we liked people. But when it's a completely different thing entirely. It's a whole nother thing when you go from a hobby to a job that has to
Yeah,
provide. Like
livelihood.
you have to provide for your family.
yeah,
Um, it's it's it can be very stressful. Like just like when we took the leap, to go full time and make this our job. I won't lie, like the winter time has been stressful over the last few years, but it is just so rewarding entrepreneurship.
And maybe set yourself a minimum,
Yeah,
because that was something that,
we learned that.
in the beginning we would just say the lowest of prices. Like, so when we were
Where we
like,
would
we're
literally
gonna
be
do
mowing a yard for free or paying them. Like we would come out of our own pocket to mow somebody's yard,
right.
and that you can't run a business like that. So when we decided to set a minimum for our work, not only did that we gain a lot of respect. I feel like when we tell people just straight up front, be like, we do have a minimum to come out. Like it's always a free estimate, but if you want us to come do a job, we have a minimum charge we have to charge. And I
Yeah,
tell them, that's fuel cost, that's insurance cost, that's you have to. And
yeah,
I mean, you could really see a difference in the way people treated you, and the way that the people would just, I mean, word of mouth in a small community like where we're at, we're in a mountain community. Everybody out here knows everybody. So if you're respectable, you're gonna get work. And there's more than enough in the lawn care business, because a lot of times people, we hear like it's such a competition, or they think you have to quote the lowest because somebody else is going to quote lower, when that's not what we've experienced. Honestly, in the lawn care industry, it's been nothing but friendship and love. Honestly, it's a loving community. Everybody's supportive, and if you communicate, you we've gained yards from other lawn care crews that they just didn't want to do it anymore, or they were not in that area anymore, and they find out you're in the area, and they're like, hey, well, here's their phone number if you just want to take on that yard, and they'll let you do it. And just when you start getting contacts within your community, and it just really grows. And then when I worked for the school system, we gained a lot of public um, connections within the sheriff's department and stuff like that, and it's really helped our business grow, just because we've always tried our best to make sure that every customer and just every person that we deal with or interact with in general is always left with a good representation of who we are and
Yeah.
what we want to do. We don't ever want to leave anybody upset. We don't want to ever make somebody feel like they were cheated out of the money or that they could have got a better deal. So
Well, that's why you get that word of mouth, I'm sure. Is, you know, you take care of those people, and they'll take care of you back, and those are the best kind of customers when they'll help build your business too, because you've taken care of them, and I love that. Laci, did you have anything? I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, you're okay. I'm usually the one that cuts everybody off. I was going to say, but we price everything per job instead of per hour. That's something that could help, because a lot of people want to pay per hour, and which that's okay. Like if you know in your mind, if you come up on a job and you can kind of look at it and you can know about how long it's going to take you, you can kind of get your hourly, what you would want hourly rate from that per job total that you tell the customer. Because we found out in the beginning that sometimes we would do what we thought was going to be a really decent hourly rate, but we were really a lot quicker than we thought we were going to be. So we cheated ourselves on a lot of
we would
things.
come to the yard expecting it to take 5 hours and get done in 2.5 hours. And then you just couldn't really, you ended up cutting the bill in half versus
Well,
what you really needed.
and you know, when you start out, if you are starting out with residential equipment, and it might take you a 2-hour mow, but now when you've made the investment, and that obviously costs you money, but now you're using commercial equipment and you're better at it, more efficient. That's all that skill built up. You
Yep.
know, if it takes you an hour, you know, they should pay the 2 hours because you put that investment in.
That's one thing
And
that,
yeah,
that's one
so
thing that I've
by the
said
job is
over,
good.
sorry.
Yeah.
That's
No,
one thing
no.
I realized over the last couple of years, and I've been telling people is it's one thing to live by or think of when you're quoting your jobs is like you're not paying me for the hour that I'm here. You're paying me for the years it took me to gain this experience to be able to do this in the time that I'm going to do it in.
Right.
And that can be applied to any job, just in any field. As
Yep.
you get better, as your experience gets better, you do the job quicker with better equipment. And the price has to go up, but that's just because everything else goes up. The experience goes up, the fuel cost goes up, the machine goes up.
And you don't want to be punished for being quicker each time, because one of our favorite, our motto that we always say to each other is, let's do this good but quick.
Good but quick.
And so
I
we
love
try
that.
to, we don't skimp on professionalism. We try to do our very best at every single job, but we do try to make it a point to be quicker at every single job, like especially our regular yards.
If you've been there 3 times already this month, you know exactly what you're going to do when you get there. And if it goes according to plan, it should be quicker than the time you were there before. Because you've already done it.
Right.
But you never know what's going to happen in our business. A belt might break. There might be something in the yard you have to pick up. There might, or a lot of times there might be something else that the customer wants you to do that, just a spur of the moment deal. They'll be like, hey, while you're here, can you trim this bush? Or can you take this? A lot of times we'll take some trash off for some people, just a lot of our elderly clients.
We've done a lot of the junk removal and stuff.
I've seen it.
That's some stuff we have done. That we've been on some pretty crazy jobs.
We've been in some houses before that it'd be something we'd need you for. That's
Definitely.
Well, yeah, that'd be a long trip for me, but if I'm ever out in Tennessee, I'd love to come, get some dinner with you guys or something. That'd be fun.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
One thing you might be interested in is, have you heard of the Equipment Expo in Louisville, Kentucky?
I only have because I saw you guys went to it and I watched part of that video. So that would be pretty fun.
You should go. It's the same October 26th through the 28th. It's the same time every year in Louisville, Kentucky. It's, $10 a person? I think, right? If you register early, it's 50% off. I think it's $10 a person or something like that, or maybe $20 a person. But the day of, it's $100 a person.
Okay.
So if you register early and get an Airbnb or something close, we were like 3 miles out, or you have a travel trailer.
Yeah. We we like to go out there because my wife's family's all in the Midwest, so we drive out
Okay.
there sometimes. And yeah, it'd be fun to plan a vacation around something like that. Because I love equipment. I mean, that's just like
Yeah. Oh, and there's
I'm
everything you
googly
can
eyed.
think of there. It's a 3 day event. No, it's a 4 day event. We were there the whole week. And I mean, you can literally spend the entire time there and not get bored. And you get to interact with all the equipment. For you, there's so many different kind of dump trailers and trucks and
Oh
accessories
yeah,
for your business out there. I mean, and truck accessories, it'd be unreal. And we'd love to see you there. We met several of our subscribers there, and
yeah.
I mean, it was a great experience. We didn't know what it would be like, but just we didn't even know anything about it until we started the YouTube channel. And a lot of our subscribers were like, "Hey, you should go to the expo." And
Yeah.
so we looked it up, and we had an amazing time. I mean, it was just lovely. We met, and we made so many contacts with all the different equipment providers,
hmm
and we
It's nice you can see everything in one place because
and
my
you can try
parents,
it out.
yeah, my parents owned a printing company, and so I used to go to the printing expos with my parents in
Okay.
Germany and Chicago, wherever they had, and because they'd set up like, like multi-million-dollar printing presses where they'd have to put a foundation in for put a printing press in for a week show, run electrical. It's crazy these convention centers what they do, but they'd
Yeah.
sell printing presses, and cutters and stitchers. So we'd go, and I think that's honestly where I got my love for equipment is growing up around manufacturing and seeing equipment do work. I'm like, man, that is so cool what that machine is doing. It just sparked my interest in it. But
Yeah.
don't
I
want to go off
really.
too much on tangent. But I appreciate that. That'd be a good fun trip. I got one other question, then I'll let you guys skedaddle. But appreciate all your time. So you guys work together. You're married. How do you guys how do you guys maintain such a positive relationship? And obviously, we see it on camera, and obviously, everybody's got their negative moments or their little quibbles or whatever. But just in general, how do you guys keep a good marriage and a working relationship going
It's hard. I won't lie.
I don't film when I'm mad at him.
together? Of course.
No, but
No.
no, it's not always perfect. But we have such similar personalities, and we really do have a true love for what we do, and we enjoy working together.
Yeah.
And that definitely plays a part because you have to be able, like, we spend literally every single day together all day long.
Yeah. We
And a
do.
lot of people think that's weird, but we really enjoy it. And then you have to have a respect for each other. You have to just be kind, have to know sometimes if you're wrong, or just agree to disagree. Um, but
But it is rewarding to be able to get to spend all the time that you want to together, and at the end of the day, to know why each other is tired, or to know why the person's not having a good day necessarily because you were there and you seen what happened, or if something is bothering somebody, you were there. You can understand. Versus if you spent the day apart, they might not want to talk about it. It might take you 2 or 3 days to get the communication going to fix the problem. It's just
Yeah.
really been a blessing for us because honestly, it's been a blessing for me because she's been so supportive for me. She's supported me in everything that I've ever wanted to do. And I mean, she's went above and beyond. I mean, I worked on a dock loading trucks, and I worked all night long. Six nights a week. I'd work 10, 11 hours at night, and the freezing temperatures. It'd be negative 2 or 3 degrees at night on the docks, and she would be there. She would bring me lunch in the middle of the night. She would come get me from work at 5 o'clock in the morning and take me home, and then turn around and also take our son to school an hour later. And I mean, she's just been the best support ever. And I was able to leave those jobs and be able to just get to spend all my time with her and maybe try to pay her back a little bit of how she supported me, um, it's just rewarding to me because you get to see what you're working for. I get to see her every single day, and I get to see how hard she works for me. Um, Really, it just makes me happy to be able to work with her. And when our son works with us, you get to see the family bonding together,
Yeah.
and it's really been fun. Yeah, there's times when you get quarrels or frustrated with each other, but really, at the end of the day, if you just talk it out, communication is key. And just always, okay, one thing I'll say, never go to bed without saying I love you. And that's one thing I've heard from when I was a little kid is you don't want to go to bed without telling your loved ones that you care about them, because you never know what's going to happen. You
Yeah.
never know what the next day brings. So, and that's another reason why I love being able to work together, is because you never know what's going to happen from day to day. So I'd rather be with my family than away from my family if something happened.
Yep. That's so cool.
Yeah, that's very kind. Thank you so much for all the kind things that you said about me. But it is definitely a team effort. Harley puts in just as much effort as I do. Like where I'm slacking, he picks up the slack. You just have to be willing to work hard for each other and to know that not everything is always going to be perfect, and be willing to go through the ups and the downs together, and not blame each other if something goes wrong. Like try to build each other up, and just be kind to each other, be kind to everyone. um, that's one of the things. Like it is hard sometimes to be happy and positive all the time, but it really does it's really pointless to just walk around upset and mad all the time, I feel like. And you never know what another person is going through. And just sometimes a little bit of kindness can go a long, long way. So we just try to be kind to each other, set an example, um, for other people of a marriage, how we think a marriage should be, and how you should treat each other, and how you should be as a family, and how you should just interact with people in your community in general. And we just try to be kind and really do unto others as you would have them do unto you. That's really, really the golden rule. If you treat people kind, they won't always treat you kind, but um, don't let the negative influences change who you are.
And another
Yeah.
thing about being in a small town and being a business owner is everybody knows who you are and
Mm.
everybody knows what you do. So one thing that's really helped is just try to always be accountable. Think of yourself as just being accountable for everything you do, because you never know who's watching. And you never, word of mouth is the fastest spreading news of all, good or bad. It
Yeah.
can be, so if people see, like if we were out in the streets hollering and screaming and fighting and wearing our business shirts, and who's going to want to call us to come to their yard? Who's going to
Right.
trust us to be at their property when no one else is there?
Yeah.
And so, and just thinking of, we want to leave our business to our children one day when they get older, and for them to leave to their children. And it's really been a good motivator having a family business, because it just does motivate you to just try hard, try to get through it. If something is wrong, talk it out, find the solution and work towards it,
Yeah.
because you have so much riding on it. Not only do you have your family, and just your relationship together, but there's a whole business out there that
All right.
if it doesn't work, the business doesn't work either. And then, like for our situation, we're married. That's two people. Like if we split up, Lord, that's never going to happen. But like just for instance, if a married couple splits, that business is gone. It's
Yep.
you can't continue that business alone.
Yeah.
So it's like it's been very motivational to have a family business that it's kind of like, to quote Elon Musk, it's kind of like having a child. You have to keep it alive. You have to feed it, and you think of it, it's like, I can't fail the business because the business provides for my family.
Yeah.
And so it's just when we finally did decide to go full on with the business, it's just been motivational to change our lives entirely, be healthy, happy, and just try to be positive.
Well, I think it comes through in your videos. I think that it just shows the way that you guys talk about each other, and I really look forward to hopefully one day meeting you guys in person, and
That'd be
You know,
great.
just continue to watch your channel, you know, succeed. And I can tell you guys enjoy your work and treating your customers with respect. And you're just going to continue to grow and set such a positive example in your community. So I really appreciate you guys coming on and chatting with me for so long. And look forward to hopefully maybe we could do a catch up in a year or something and just kind of
Yeah.
see what's going on.
Yeah,
That would be
definitely.
awesome.
Yeah, it's been our pleasure, and thank you so much for wanting to do this. And
Absolutely.
it's been great getting to see your channel grow, because from the time you first reached out to us until now, I mean, I've watched your channel grow so much. So
Yeah, it's funny how, you know, I was telling somebody else like the first 500 subscribers takes a long time. And then I think what happens is that the YouTube algorithm kind of figures out, okay, this is the people who want to watch your stuff now. Once you build a consistency of like, okay, this is what our channel's about, then your audience kind of finds you, or the algorithm sends it to the audience they think, and then it kind of goes exponential. And it's kind of weird because you're like, man, I didn't think there'd be this many people want to watch this stuff, like
Yeah.
my stuff. You know what I mean? But
Yeah, no, it's
yeah,
the same feeling. But
it's
yeah,
funny.
it's been such a great journey, and we can't wait to see where your business goes. And
I appreciate it.
hopefully we'll get to see each other at the expo this year.
And we know that's a far ways for you to travel, but that would be really awesome.
Yeah, well, if not this year, maybe next. I've got some. We're trying to grow our family, so we'll see what happens with all that. But
Congratulations with that.
thank
Yes.
you, thank you. So, but yeah, I would love to make it out there because I know I would just be oozing excitement.
It's so amazing. I'm telling you, there's so much stuff. You
Yeah.
really love it.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Laci, Harley. It's been a pleasure. And
Thank you.
yeah, we'll talk someday again, I'm sure.
Yes,
All right.
thank you so very much. Hey, until next
Absolutely.
time. See you.
Keep on keeping on, you guys. Take care.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.